playfully slapping his chest. Cameron waggled his fingers in her face. "Ooh, yes, I'm really scary." Eleanor giggled and turned around, pressing her back into him and resting her head on his breastbone. They stood silently in the doorway, watching their daughter's chest rise and fall, her eyelids twitching. Cameron found himself breathing in time with the young girl before his wife spoke softly. "She's okay, isn't she?" Eleanor said. "Well, she has got my genes. Let's just hope she ends up with my looks, intelligence, charm, and charisma." Eleanor suppressed a laugh, spinning around, snaking an arm around her husband's waist and butting his shoulder gently with her head. "As long as she doesn't have your head size." Cameron hugged his wife with one arm, using the other to pull the bedroom door until it was almost closed. "And are you okay?" he asked. "I can't believe she starts school in September. Only seems like yesterday we were in the hospital. Tomorrow she'll be dyeing her hair black and refusing to speak to us." As he smoothed down his wife's hair, Cameron tried not to laugh. "Is that what you were like as a teenager?" "I never dyed my hair, but basically, yes." "At least we'll know where she gets it from then." Cameron loosened his grip, kissing his wife on the top of the head. "Come on, let's get going or we'll never leave." Eleanor peered up at him wearily. She looked as tired as Cameron felt. When they had talked about having a regular date night, they'd agreed that regardless of his job or how exhausted either of them felt, they would ensure they had one night a month for each other. "Is Ollie all right?" Eleanor asked. "I left him in charge of the TV and he knows where everything is. I made sure the baby monitor was working earlier, so he's all set. I even put a pizza in the oven for him." "Wow, my hero," she mocked with a grin. "Let's hope Lara grows up to have your culinary skills as well as your giant head." Cameron glanced at his watch as discreetly as he could, not wanting to let on that he was in any way concerned about the time. "How long ago did we order?" Eleanor asked. Realising he had been caught, Cameron tried to reply in a way that didn't let on how annoyed he was. "About 45 minutes, he replied, knowing it was over an hour. "I'm tempted just to say sod it and get a burger on the way home." Cameron failed to suppress a grin. "Classy." Eleanor was trying to stop herself smiling too. "You're the one checking the time." "I was checking out the back of my hand, actually." She rolled her eyes. "They're still hairy and clumsy, if that's what you're worried about." Before Cameron could respond, a waiter appeared over his wife's shoulder. "Risotto?" he asked, before placing the plate in front of Eleanor and offering the steak to Cameron. "Any sauces?" Cameron couldn't avoid his wife's disapproving stare. "No, fine, thanks," he said, before waiting for the man to walk away. "What?" he added innocently, looking at her, even though he knew exactly what she was thinking. "You don't ask for ketchup in a restaurant," Eleanor said. "I didn't." "No, but you were thinking about it." Cameron shook his head but could not stop himself smiling. "What are you? The thought police? When it comes to you, yes." Cameron cut into the meat, feeling his stomach rumble as a small amount of juice oozed onto the plate. Despite the time it had taken, he had to admit the steak looked perfectly cooked, and had no doubt the thick, chunky skin-on chips would be excellent too. "Is it nice?" he asked his wife, nodding towards her bowl. Eleanor chewed with her mouth tightly shut but nodded. "Worth the wait," Cameron added as he put a forkful of meat into his mouth. She swallowed, taking a sip from her glass. "Maybe." "What is a risotto, anyway?" He looked up to see Eleanor narrowing her eyes in the way that made the top of her nose crinkle. A strand of blonde hair fell across her face. Cameron thought she looked as gorgeous as ever as she moved it away. "How old are you?" she asked. 40-ish. What's that got to do with anything? Eleanor swallowed another mouthful. "It's a rice dish. How can you not know that?" "I don't know. I've never had it." Cameron picked up a slice of steak with his fork and held it in the air. "I eat man food." His wife smirked. "Is that why your trousers are too tight?" Cameron pulled a face of mock indignation, trying to think of something funny to respond with. 40-ish, Eleanor reminded him. As they ate and chatted, Cameron